Greetings. I am the Doctor, and this is Prince Hiver. Now, Hiver was a bit annoyed at last week's episode, as he is quite fond of winter. Well, everyone likes different things. So, for him, my intent was to go down into a ravine that I used to traverse as a child and take footage of our very dry, very gray winter to show that there is beauty even in, the cold and the grayness. But then, the night before this excursion, it snowed, and I ended up with pictures of, pristine, beautiful snow. So, not quite the metaphor that I wanted to go for, but as long as it was there, and it was an excuse to go for a little walk in a place that I have not been in a very long time. Enjoy the video.
I don't know how many people would want to go down a ravine in winter, but the answer turns out to be quite a few. This is a good thing, because while I know that there is a small stream at the bottom of the ravine, parts of it were covered by snow. It was fortunate that others marked the trail for me. The stream peeked through many places. There were many fallen trees across the stream, but given the undisturbed snow, it seems no one wanted to try walking across them. One thing easier to see in winter than in other seasons is the shape of trees and their branches. Branches are fractal patterns. One splits into two, and then those two split into two, so there are four. The four split in two, so there are 8, and so on. Trees grow from the top, not the bottom, so a branch will get longer and thicker, but will always be the same height from the ground where it started at. Another thing that can be seen more clearly in winter than in other seasons are squirrel nests. Are there squirrels in there now? I don't know. Here, do you see it? The flickering light in the roots. That sunlight reflecting from the water. And this, wouldn't this make a fantastic cave for a swamp creature? Or ravine creature, in this case. Here's another one, if the creature didn't want to get wet feet. I just like the effect of depth here. I will need to return in spring or summer. We used to find salamanders under logs. I wonder if they're still here.
Hey there, Jester here, with my little friend, Prince Hiver. Now, if you're anything like me, the last time you made a paper snowflake was when you were a little kid. And if you're not like me, probably the last time you made a paper snowflake was, for or with a little kid. Generally, in my experience, paper snowflakes tend to be a little kid thing. But, well, there's always nostalgia, and there's always ways of making things more dangerous. So, set the prince aside. So we're going to start with just a plain sheet of 8.5 by 11 printer paper. The first step is to take the corner, fold it over, so that you have a perfect square, or, as perfect as you can make it. Anything handmade is going to be, it's not going to be machine perfect. So usually scissors are used for this, but I find that for the amount of precision cuts through multiple sheets, I prefer to use, a knife. In this case, a box cutter, because I'm not sure where I last put my X-Acto knife. It's around somewhere. So I'm going to line that up along the edge where the fold is, and okay, well, you can see that wasn't quite on the line, but whatever. We have a square that is good enough. And then the next step is we're going to take this fold piece and we're going to fold it again along the long side. We're going to line up those two tips so that we have another right angle triangle, and it's being a bit of a fuss. There we go. So now we've got this shape again. Now the tricky part about making these snowflakes has always been the fact that it's 6 points. From a square, it's easy to get 4 or 8. But 6, I mean, you can either carefully fiddle with it, or you can get out one of these things. This is a protractor. I have no idea if they use them in school anymore, given all the cuts to education. But what you want to do here is line up your 0 mark with your 90-degree mark, because this is a right angle triangle. And now we just need to divide this arc into 3, which is very easy, because 90 is just 30, 30, 30. 9 divided by 3 is 3, so 90 divided by 3 is 30. But for this, I'm going to come down 90 degrees here. I mean, you could do it both ways, but for me, it's easier to make the fold if I'm going right to left. So 90, I'm going to go to the 60 and make a little mark there. So now what I want to do is, again, this is going to be point 1, that's going to be point 2, and I want to line up my fold. I'm going to make that bigger so you can see it, I hope. So here's my 30-degree mark. I'm going to fold from the corner to that mark so it will make a straight line. And I'm going to fold that down. And then I'm going to turn that over. And I'm just going to take the rest of it and fold it to the edge. Fold that up, and now we've got this sort of Star Trek insignia. Chevron, whatever the shape is called. So now we don't want these big points. So I'm going to unfold that a little bit and get my knife out again in a second. So just line that up along there. Take that off. Flip it over, and again along this line. You end up trimming a little extra off again. Fine. I didn't have nearly as many problems with it when I was doing a practice one. So now we've got this little ice cream cone shape. Now you finally get to start designing your snowflake. So you're going to want to choose one of these as your main long point, and then this will be something smaller, because if you just kind of come down like that, you're going to end up with something with 12 points. Now I want something with only 6 points, so I will, I don't really need my ruler, I'm just going to freehand this. There we go. So I have one there. So this is going to be my long main point, and this is going to be my shorter internal point. And then you can just make whatever design you want. I want a hole in it, and maybe in the middle. Okay, so that's a nice basic little design. So now I'm going to take my ruler and my knife, which I find easier to cut through multiple layers than a pair of scissors. It takes a few. Goes through it, but the problem is it's a small thing, so trying to get it so the ruler is nice and sturdy is a tricky part. But yeah, so it takes multiple cuts because you're going through multiple layers, but I think it gives a nicer and less frustrating cut than trying to use scissors on multiple layers. Almost there. This comes here. I want it to be soon. And of course, you can make the design look like anything you want. Sometimes the corners take a little more work. So there we go. Now I've got this odd little shape. But when I unfold it, I get snowflake. There's all sorts of ways to decorate these. You could, color the paper first, or for this one, I just used a pattern paper to begin with. It's a bit thicker, so you can see that it was a little harder to cut and didn't turn out quite as symmetrical because the folds were thicker. And if you want it to be perfectly flat, if you have an iron, you can iron these. Or I suppose leave it squished under a book or something for several days. But anyway, that is how to make a basic paper snowflake.